Haley. You're listening to Nothing But Niners.
So now they've got to start from deep in their end of the field, and Garrison Hurst takes advantage of it. He takes the handoff, sweeps to his right, gets to the 20. He's at the 30, needs to cut in. He comes back up the right sideline, breaks the third tackle, comes down to the 30. He's down to the 20. He's down to the 10. He's down to the 5. He's down to the end zone. Touchdown! Touchdown! 49ers! 96-yard run from scrimmage. Garrison Hurst.
Young, back to throw. In trouble, he's going to be sacked. No, gets away. He runs, gets away again, goes to the 40, gets away again, to the 35, cuts back at the 30, to the 20, the 50, the 10. He dies. Touchdown, 49ers.
Set by the 27-yard line. 49ers into the backfield. Gets on third down. He'll take it himself for a first down.
Left hip. Third down, Alex takes the snap. Alex looking down in post, and it's Gallman! Touchdown! Touchdown 40! It is second down. Ryan takes the snap, goes to slant to the left side. It's Michael, intercepted! The 49ers pick it, and Navarro Bowman is redemption! Navarro Bowman running it all the way for a touchdown!
Hold everybody. Colin Kaepernick. What a game. Touchdown.
Yeah. Click, click, boom. What's going on, faithfuls? The Nothing But Niners crew is back, and we're here to bring you guys another fun-filled episode. Guys, we're mixing it up. Some people are back in the mix, man. It's good to see you guys. Fellas, what's going on? Let's start with my man Brian. He's up top. What's going on, Stater Niner?
Hey, another good day, right? We get to talk 49ers. I love it. And we got Tony in the house, which I don't get to talk to him very often anymore because he's always working his butt off. So yeah, let's get this going. Yeah,
that's right. That's right. Tony, how you doing over there, my man?
I'm all right. I'm a little tired. I missed out on another overtime tonight, unfortunately, but it is what it is. I got the night off.
It might be a good thing. So you're saying that you're tired, and then that being what it is, maybe it's a good thing for you.
Nah, because when you get your paycheck and you see it, you're being tired.
You can feel the damn difference, right? Like you can tell right away. I understand that.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
I get that. So, guys, we're going to be here tonight to discuss the roster breakdown, the running back and the tight ends. Tonight, you guys are going to get two different Squirtles. You guys are going to get two different shows or two different position groups because between the running backs and the tight ends, there's just not a lot of different players to discuss. So, first and foremost, if this is your first time here on the YouTube page, we want to thank you guys for checking us out. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, and turn on the notifications because you're going to need to know when we're going live, okay? Also, turn on the social media platforms and give us follows over there. Twitter and Snapchat are Nothing But 9 ERS, all right? And then we also have Facebook, Instagram, as well as Twitch, and that is Nothing But Niners. Again, I'm your guy, 49ers Mike _NFL. Below me is Tony. He is NJ Niner fan 499, even though he's just Tony tonight. And then to my right, which I'm pointing to my left, so this is always weird, is my man Brian. He is Stater _Niner. And though that's like with numbers.
With numbers, yeah.
Yeah, that's with numbers. There's no GH in Stater. Or I was going to say no T either, but there is one T. Never mind. All right, anyhow. Squirtle is in the house. Tony, you missed a couple of shows ago. We had to assign, what was it, Pokemon or something like that?
Yep. They had us pick out of the starter who was, and I think you and I both went with Charmander.
Yeah.
And then they obligatory, like the chat assigned Wayne to Bulbasaur, and Tony got Squirtle.
Tony, do you even know what a Pokemon is?
Nope. Sorry. Couldn't even tell you.
I freaking love it, man. I love it. All right, that's cool. That is cool. I'm okay with that. So before we start, we have to go through some of the latest news, some of the stuff that's happening in 49ers world. So we're going to start with this. Actually, I should actually also get the tweet from the NFL. So let me upload this picture here, and then let me get the tweet from the actual NFL. It turns out that the NFL approved alternate. Check that out, right? They approved alternate helmets for 2022, not 2021, right? So let me see if I can find this tweet again. Let me see if I can find the official.
We better not ever wear our alternate helmet.
You don't like it?
The one we never actually wore? No, I don't like it.
Oh, you're talking about with like the 49ers like written out?
Yep.
On the, okay. No,
Yeah,
I'm not.
Barlow had a puss on his face when he was holding the helmet.
Yeah. Seifert has got a smile, a small grin, but Eddie D was like, I'm like, you're the owner. How did you let this happen?
Yeah, no, I'm not mad at you for not wanting to see that one in the fray here. But Brian, if you could do me a favor, break down this tweet here. Hold on, let me actually put it in here. Boom, and boom. All right, if you could run through this really quick, I would appreciate it, and then I'll show you guys the image of the alternative helmet that I think may look good.
NFL approved alternate helmets today for teams wearing throwback uniforms starting in 2022 per league sources. This opens the door to the defending world champion Bucks wearing the old white helmets with the orange swashbuckling Buccaneer as early as 2022, tweeted today by Mr. Adam Schefter.
Dun, dun, dun. So I've seen some Matt or Mate. Some people, I've heard people say Mate. Isn't it just Matt?
It's just Matt.
So why would they say Mate?
Because it's got the E and people don't understand how to pronounce it correctly.
Is it Porsche? Porsche.
It's a Porsche.
I like you guys. I like you guys. All right. So I've seen the matte finish helmets. I've seen the dark red and then the orange logo versus da 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 da. But this one's floating around on Twitter today. And guys, I think we got one here. Is
this the Iron Man? Oh, holy Jesus.
Come on.
You're
Let's have a reaction here.
You're going to be blinding defenders coming, or anyone.
That's right. So any jump balls in the sun, favor 49ers, baby. Come on. What do you got? What do you guys? Oh, Tony don't like it. Look at the face. Either that or he's trying to poop.
It's too no, definitely not that. It's too much gold.
What?
There's a lot of gold there.
Wow.
Bro.
Yeah, it's a very loud.
Come on, guys.
That's worse than Notre Dame's helmets.
This is a beauty.
They just have the metallic flakes in theirs, though. That's like chromed out gold.
Oh man, that's a tough crowd in here, man. It's a really, really tough crowd. I like this
one.
Are
you going to have them wear the mustard gold looking uniform too with that?
No, I think you put them in all white. I think you put them in all white with that. It'll look okay. And I'll be honest with you, you might even be, if you do gold socks, you could probably do the all black. You can probably wear the all black with it also.
Just wear a jersey like the one you got on.
Too shiny. Yeah. Hey, hello?
That would rock with the jersey you have on.
Oh,
I will say that.
Think about it. I wish there was a way for me to put this graphic up on my head right now with this jersey. Let's go. Oh, I didn't even think about this. Oh,
unfortunately, we'll never get that uniform combo.
They would have to change the face mask.
Oh, okay. All right. So we got some face masks.
Yeah, make it red or something or black or something.
So you guys think it's just a little too much gold?
Yeah.
You want to change the color of it or the shape of it? Let me. Super fire with the white face mask. Okay. A white face mask. I could see that.
It's like that's like something the Oregon Ducks would do. Come on, man.
it does have a duckish theme to it, but
right.
I mean,
like when they came out in the Rose Bowl that one year and wore the super shiny silver platinum helmets.
Yeah. I mean, it's not that bad. I kind of like it, man. I know you guys saying it's shiny, Tony. I feel like I'm wearing you down a little bit, just that quick, just a little bit.
I mean, listen, I like the shine and the gold, but you got to eliminate that face mask. It's way like,
right. I don't know. Well, and if you're going to not use it, but if it's going to be something that can be beneficial for the offensive players, if you're going to go up, like you said, for a jump ball, you don't want to have that shiny stuff in the face either. You'd want to have something matte for your face mask portion. You know, you can have the shiny on the outside, but the inside is gonna have to be black or red or something.
Well, I think it's tinted.
Someone put in there, it's a gold bar helmet.
Gold bar, yep.
There you go. Oh, damn. That's right. All right. I like it. I like the helmet, man. It would be pretty cool. And I'm excited to see what they do now. Do like mock helmet sell? You know how like teams make changes to jersey sales go up? Do people buy helmets?
I've seen helmets that do match your jersey that are black matte with the gold trim on there for the 49ers. I've seen them for sales, and and signed by players too. So I mean, you can go get them. I don't know if they're if there's a high need for them or want for them. But I've seen them out there.
Okay. All right. I like it. I like it a lot. All right, guys. So it is time to start discussing the different positions, and I think we should start with the running backs. So let's do it, guys. We're going to start breaking down the running backs right now. Boom. And just a reminder, last year for the 49ers, they kept just 5 running backs because they counted Kyle Juszczyk. So we'll include the fullback position here. They kept 5. It was Tevin Coleman, Raheem Mostert, Jerick McKinnon, Jeff Wilson Jr., and then Kyle Juszczyk. All right. Now, currently on the roster, how many running backs do we have here?
Currently on the roster, you have 6 running backs and 2 fullbacks.
Okay. All right. So it's a light load to cut down here. So what we'll do is we'll go through play by player. We say yay, nay, practice squad, what we think that player's fate is come the original 53-man roster cut down this year. All right. And then any comments about the players, obviously, we'll go along. We're not just being robotic here. If you guys have something to say about the players, we'll discuss them and all that stuff. Okay. So I have this in alphabetical order by position. So it's in reverse. Jeff Wilson Jr. is the first running back here. He's coming in here, man. 4 years of experience. Jeff Wilson is like surprisingly young to me. He's only 25. Am I the only person surprised by that? Yeah. Okay.
I'm not. I mean, no.
No.
He's a young college. I mean, he's only been in the league 3 years.
I don't know. He just feels older than that to me. Like I feel like I've been waiting for him to get his moment for a long time. Maybe that's what it is. What are your thoughts on our guy Jeff Wilson Jr. and his current situation?
Good, bro.
Okay. Well, obviously, unfortunately for him right now, he's going to be not part of the 53 to start off the season just due to injury. When he comes back from that, we'll see what happens. But that's kind of where he's at right now. He's in a limbo situation. I mean, I had him initially making it until, injury came along. And so initially he's going to be on whatever designation the team puts him on until he's good to go. But that's kind of where I have him.
Yeah, I like Wilson. I was expecting big things from him this year, but I just feel like he's another one with the issue of staying on the field. And the team brought him back on a 1-year deal. They gave him a nice guarantee. And unfortunately, he stands up out of a chair and shreds his knee. So, it's not a good start. Like other running backs in this group, he's a free agent after this year. And, I was kind of looking forward to seeing him play. But, these injuries, it's the same shit every year. Injury.
Have we got an estimate on his return time?
I heard he's, 4 to 6 months?
Right.
Which is kind of odd because a meniscus is
not usually.
It depends on the type of tear he had in the meniscus, whether it was a full tear or like a bucket handle tear. The healing can be different depending on the exact type. And since I don't have that information, I don't know if that was actually released on the type of tear he had. I don't expect to see him until at a minimum after the bye week.
Yeah, so it's a shame.
Okay. So do you guys have – I know, Brian, you said however the team designates him right now is your little prediction. Do you guys think he's going to be back for the final 53?
Well, he's going to be on some type of injury reserve, whether it's IR with a designation to return. So right off the bat, no. But do I think he'll come back? Yeah, I mean, because he's going to have fresh legs. I mean, hopefully.
Right. What was that? Was like April, May? Or wasn't it the beginning of June, right? Was it May?
I think it was May.
I think it was like the latter part of May.
June, July, August, September, October, November is 6 months. So,
I think the team might do some kind of injury settlement.
Huh.
I don't know. I don't know if he's worth keeping around that long.
Well, I think he has a future with this team. I think that, with the movements of what they did in the draft as far as bringing Sermon and Mitchell in, I could see them part ways with Mostert after this season.
Which is why I think we just end up doing a settlement because –
Well, I think that Wilson fills that void. I think that they end up re-signing him to another extension or another at least 1 year to get a full year out of him. That's just like I'm trying to prognosticate far into the future here, but
okay.
You said you think Wilson fills that void. What void?
For us, we usually roll with 4 running backs and a fullback right now underneath the Shanahan system. So if they move on from Mostert come next year, then I think they bring him back. I don't think they do an injury settlement because I think he can come back at some point later in the season and bring fresh legs. And given how unfortunate we have been in the injury department, I think that having someone potentially that could come back in and fill a void later in the season. But I also think that he'll be back for the 22 season.
Wait, we can sign him for following an injury settlement, can't we? He becomes a free agent or something like that, right?
Yeah, but once you do an injury settlement, I think he has to go somewhere else. There's like a timeline that has to be followed once an injury settlement's done. You can't just sign the player back.
I didn't know that there was.
And with his salary, it wouldn't make sense to do that really anyway. I mean, he's making $2 million this year. I'd have to look up his guarantees.
All right. I mean, I know we're spending a lot of time on him, but we'll be honest here. Well, I'll be honest. I think this is probably the most intricate running back to discuss as far as the depth and whether or not he makes it, because I think, generally speaking, we're going to have a pretty good idea of who else we have making it and all. And I don't know if we're going to have a in-depth conversation, but this is a big deciding factor here. This is going to determine someone else's roster spot and all. And so both of you guys are saying that he'll be on like an IR list of some sort. But if this is his last year and he comes back on IR, we don't get this year back after IR is over. He's a free agent. So I'm just struggling to see the purpose of keeping him here. We're hoping that he's healthy enough in October.
I'm telling you, okay, so I looked it up. His 2.050, whatever, it's $2 million, just over $2 million, and it's fully guaranteed. So I don't know that he's going to want to do a settlement. I mean, why? If I was the injured player, I wouldn't take a settlement.
But the settlement is also, remember we looked this up. The settlement is also based off of so he would get game checks through whatever the 6-week period is, a 6-month period is.
Right.
So he's still going to get
he's going to get it no matter what. It's guaranteed. His $2 million is guaranteed to him. It doesn't make any sense from the player's perspective if my salary is guaranteed to take an injury settlement and get like $500,000 or whatever and walk away from the team. To me, that doesn't make. If I'm that guy, I wouldn't do that. I'm like, you're going to pay me my $2 million, and I'll see you in November or whenever they clear him from his medical issue. From his
fully guaranteed contract.
Yes, well, it was $2 million. Yeah, I mean, given what he's shown us over the years, that's
as far as like talking about bringing him back. Yeah, he is a free agent, but there's 2 people under contract in his backfield as far as a running back, not a fullback, and that's the 2 rookies. So you're going to need a third body around. I mean, they could bring back Hasty for cheap. If they do this and they stash him and they keep him on and they bring him back, they activate him off the injury list, they can, give him another deal next year at a more cost-efficient contract.
Right. Okay. All right.
I think that they gave him a $2 million guaranteed contract this season because of the work that he's put in up to this point and the salary that he's played for up to this point. It was kind of a reward for being, that guy who's who's been available and pushing, the third or fourth spot, depending on what's going on with the team.
Right.
So I don't know. I think he has a future with this team. So I don't think that they do an injury settlement with him. I don't.
And you
see
guys
it.
know
It's
that
not in the players' benefit to do that either.
He's been one of my favorite running backs on the roster all along. So it's tough. It's really tough. We were pulling for him, and we all were excited to see what he could bring to the table this year. But we'll have to see how everything plays out. But none of us have him making the initial 53-man roster
due to injury. Correct.
Right. Otherwise, I think. Well, I know I had him.
I had him on the list until he got injured.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna keep it moving here. That I think is the longest time we've talked about an individual player.
Well, to be fair, he's really the first injured player we've really had to talk about.
Yeah. All right. So 29-year-old Raheem Mostert coming back off of an injury also. It's going to be a theme here. But seems to be ripping and roaring and ready to go. Let me save that for later. What are your guys' thoughts on the 7-year running back?
I think he's penciled in as a starter right now. But listen, things could change. They invested 2 draft picks in Sermon and Mitchell. Actually, everywhere I've been reading and listening, a lot of people are very high on this kid Mitchell for this system as a fit. So again, free agent after the year, injury questions, you don't know. So, and the way Bobby Turner rolls, he goes with the hot hand. He goes with the guy he has the most confidence in. Your best availability is being available. So if you're not available, what point are you? So I'm not knocking him. I think he's an excellent piece for this offense and gives it another element to it with his speed. But I think like the 49ers do things when they draft, they draft for the following year where they have holes in their roster. They went 2 corners, they went 2 running backs, they went a quarterback, they went an offensive guard, and they just fill in slots. And it says a lot, in my opinion, now, especially next year. We're going to be strapped against the cap for money. I mean, we're going to have space, but not enough space to retain 35, I think, people that it's up to now. But
we'll be fine.
It's going to be interesting. So,
all right.
I think you're 100% spot on with what you're saying there. And I have Mostert is making my roster. So
yeah, he's making it. It's just like it could be a potential situation where if Sermon and I think it's going to be. Well, we'll get into that later. But
no, I think I know where you're going, and I agree. I think that it's very possible that we'll see Sermon supplant Mostert this year. I think, in my opinion, I don't know if that's exactly where you're going, but I think that
I was leaning that way, and I was also leaning towards something else. But we'll get into it later. But as far as Mostert, he's going to make the roster. He's going to start on the 53.
Right.
The question is he going to finish on the 53?
Right.
Injury, whether it's potential moving on from him.
Is he going to finish on the 53? Oh shit. Wait, so you think he could get traded?
He could be, or something else, but yeah.
I'm saying it could be anything. He could be injured. He could miss, they could put him on an IR with a designation to return if he gets injured. Listen, it's not about not liking Mostert the player. It's about being cost efficient right now. Okay. Production, cost efficient. It's more than just what he offers. And track record is like, okay, he plays 2 games, but then he's out for 3. Then he comes on strong for 3 games and he's out for 2. So it's like, and it's not a knock. It's not a knock against him. All right.
Can I ask this question?
Go ahead.
And don't take this the wrong way. I'm not. Maybe I am defending him with this question, but correct me if I'm wrong. Mostert gets injured when he's asked to be the bell cow because other players are injured.
Okay.
Is that accurate?
I don't think he is a full-time starter for this team. I don't think, like you said, he's the bell cow. I don't.
He is a running back by committee running back. That's the only way he makes it through a season. He's not
But
Le'Veon Bell, he's not going to be your guy who's just your guy. He's not going to be Emmitt Smith or your Zeke. He's not going to be the guy who just takes the ball all the time, your go-to running back. And that's not how our system works anyway. But if he was – I think that's part of the problem that he's probably ran into in the past with those 6 or whatever other teams he's been on is, they didn't run systems similar to how we do it, I guess. And so, I think they may have expected too much from him. Unfortunately, he was put in a couple of situations with this team to be the bell cow, just due to injury. Unfortunately, we put him in that situation a few times, but I don't think that's not where where we capitalize off of his strengths.
And the tell-off factor is the team drafted 2 running backs this year, and he's
Absolutely.
a free agent next year. So, I mean, it's kind of like, okay, reading between the lines, if you will.
Right. Well, I think that's what my biggest question is that, like, if he's used properly, Raheem Mostert is a very, very valuable asset to this team. He's gotten injured.
Correct.
He's asked to do more than what he's supposed to be doing.
You're 100% right. I agree with that. But now the issue is they bring more of a bell cow running back in, and then they add the speed demon in Mitchell.
Mm-hmm.
Mitchell's not the speed demon that people keep saying he is.
I got news for you. His 40 time might not be a speed demon, but his game film, he's fast.
No, I think it's the other way around. I think the 40 time is what's got people thinking that he's as fast as he is.
But I think Kyle drafted the perfect 1-2 punch for the future. That's just the way I see it. And of course, again, at a more cost-efficient route, a cost-efficient way of doing it.
Right, because they got the rookie deals. Absolutely. So my thing is, you have him in here. Now you can actually use him the right way. I think that might increase his value because you can actually use him the right way where he's not the guy getting 20 touches a game, just giving him his 10 to 15, and he's thriving in that situation. So it's interesting. We'll see what happens, but we all have him making the initial 53, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I do like that. I like that. I like it. All right. The next player that is here to discuss is going to be Elijah Mitchell. And this kid, he's 5'10", 200 pounds, Louisiana, and he's wearing number 49. I mean, come on, you're on this team and you're wearing 49. You got to do something special with it, right? I mean, who was the last 49 that I can remember? Is it Bruce Miller?
Yes.
Yeah.
I like Bruce Miller. I don't like y'all laughing and snickering like that about my man Bruce.
What did he get tossed for?
Well, he got tossed for tossing around old people.
Right. That's why I was chuckling.
But he was drunk. It wasn't his fault. It was the alcohol. It's beer, literally beer muscles.
Come on, no. You can't say that.
All right.
You're still responsible for your actions, regardless of your state of mind.
That's what they say until you plead insanity, and then all of a sudden your state of mind makes a difference for your actions. Right? So, all right, let's not get sidetracked. I'm sorry. So let's discuss Mitchell here. Tony, we were talking about his speed before, right? And I don't know if there's a running back on this team that I think is not going to make this final 53. It's him, because I think everybody else is capable of making this final 53. And he, to me, is the most of the unproven guys. And I just don't know how he's going to shake out in the system here. But when I'm watching the tape, he's not as fast as what that 40 time says to me. Wait, maybe I'm thinking about somebody else. Hold on. Let me look up.
I see it different. I mean, there were play like when they drafted him, I went back and I watched some, obviously they're highlights, but you see the ability of him once he turned. Now, I am not comparing him to speed as Raheem Mostert speed, because there's nobody with that natural just take off.
4.32,
huh?
4.32.
Who?
Elijah Mitchell. That's what he ran.
That's what it says. But again, listen, we didn't have a combine. It's not laser. It's hand. So you add on 0.5 of a second, maybe 0.6 of a second. But I'm looking at it as you watch him play, you watch him stretch it, and then he goes upfield, and that's the speed that I'm talking about. Now, if we're going to talk about, and I just want to touch on Sermon one thing. Sermon's long speed is garbage, but his first 10 yards, he shot out of a cannon, and he's probably one of the fastest backs in this draft in the first 10 yards.
Very explosive.
So where Sermon's quick out the gate, Mitchell gets the edge, makes his cut, and then he takes off. So I'm not a big 40 guy. You know my numbers, the 10 yards, the shuttles and stuff like that. That shows you explosion. That shows you your get off. That shows you all that shit. And that's why I really like Mitchell, and I'm honestly afraid because the Niners took him for a reason. I think he would not have been undrafted. He would not have gone undrafted. Someone would have taken a shot on him. Now, I think it comes down between him and Gallman and what type of running back they want on the back end of this roster. You have to consider special teams, number one. Number two, Gallman's a free agent after this year. Mitchell's still under contract. So you got to think of it as like an investment where Gallman's speed, he's not nowhere near as fast as a 4.3. He's not even a 4.4 Gallman. He's like in a 4.5s, maybe 4.6, I think I read somewhere. He's not a fast running back. He's more of a downhill. He could run between the tackles. He could take you outside, but he's not explosive. He's another one where, I mean, you could take his 40 time and throw it out the window a little bit because he does look a little bit quicker on game film and actually live. But it's kind of like they got to be careful with this one because I think if they decide to move on from Gallman, I think he's still out there if they need to bring him back as a free agent. I don't think Mitchell does that because I just think he's like I think he's a talented running back. I'm not saying he's a future Hall of Famer, but you got to think of the mindset. They're developing their backfield for 2022, 23, 24, 25. So if you're high on this guy and you took him in the 6th round, not the 7th, the 6th round, I think he might have a legit shot of coming on this roster. Training camp's going to speak a lot, and it's going to see who's the better runner and who fits what Kyle's looking for. And just keep in mind, special teams is huge with this 3rd and 4th running back.
Right.
All right. Okay. All right. So let's talk about him making the squad or not. What do you guys have here?
I got to say great season.
Mitchell, I'm going to say, is going to make the squad. For me, it's like Tony was saying, he's 6th round pick, not a 7th round pick. He wasn't undrafted. He's making, I think, his draft status, as long as he's healthy and can show even 50% of what they think he has, or what they saw in Louisiana, or right? He was at Louisiana, Lafayette, or wherever down there. Yeah. If they can see that, I think that he makes this roster. I think it's just, that's where I have him.
Who else runs a pro-style West Coast offense in the NFL if Mostert to be traded? Basically, who would be an ideal trade partner for him? And I'm not sending Mostert in the NFC if I'm the Niners. If he's traded. So your options are cut in half here.
I think that will be more so his trade value will be more so based on injuries through the season. I mean, I know he has his own value because of what he can do. Obviously, he needs to be a good fit for the team he's going to, but I think that value will depend mostly on whether or not there are injuries throughout the season for someone in the AFC.
He'd be a Jet.
That's the ideal situation. If they didn't draft Carter, I think he would be in strong consideration.
Yeah. He'd be a Jet before we could blink. It would. So that's my opinion on it anyway. All right, so I'm going to say no on Mitchell, but I have him as a practice squad guy. I'm going to say no on Mitchell, but I have him as a practice squad guy. And I hope that I'm wrong. This is going to sound like hate. It's going to sound like hate. I just don't see that initial bounce behind the line of scrimmage that I think is needed for this team. When I watch him, it looks like he's very good. I tell you what, he's really good at hitting the predetermined hole. When he knows exactly where the hole is going to be, he's explosive as shit. Like, just give him the ball, and he's gone like a rocket. If he's got to run around the edge and he knows that's the play, the little end around, like he's phenomenal at that also. But the bouncing, like the decision making, find the hole, is what I think he could struggle with, and I think that's more of what we're going to do here. Not a defined hole. It's going to be a find the hole to take. So. We'll see how it plays out, though. But he's got a ton of talent. I really do like the kid. I don't want to sound like I'm hating on him, though. So, the next guy we have here, we're all good on Mitchell?
Yep.
All right. We got 2 more to go. JaMycal Hasty. All right. 24-year-old. He's only 24. What is up with these guys?
He keeps saying that. He's only been in the league a year.
This is
No, he's been. This is his.
This will be his second year, right?
Is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh shit! All right. Well, never mind then. All right. Wearing the Jordan number 23 is JaMycal Hasty. What do you guys got for my guy?
I think with them drafting 2 running backs kind of hurt his chances. But listen, he can come in and light it up and be in serious competition for that final running back spot. We don't know. I mean, what we've seen from him in preseason games and he played a couple of reps in the regular season, I believe, and you see the talent. But the question is that talent going to supersede what we invested in and what's currently on the roster? So it's a tough position for him. You know, I really like the guy. I could see him as a practice squad guy coming in, and, you know, someone goes down, he's going to be the first person pulled up.
So, yeah, and like you were saying earlier, Tony, I think that for me, I have Hasty is going to be part of the practice squad. I think that this team has the ability to get him, release him, and get him back on the practice squad easier than probably any of the other running backs that are currently on this roster. Like, I think that if we release Mitchell, he's going to get picked up. I don't think he can make it to the practice squad. I think Hasty can because his tape's limited as far as, you know, I mean, he does have some, you know, since he was in the league last year, but it's not a lot. And I just think that it'd be easier to get him to the practice squad than anybody else we have on this roster.
The Hasty man can. Who can make the practice squad? I'm gonna put JaMycal Hasty in the practice squad also. And again, another player I was really excited to see. He had the one game where he got a little bit of shine and then he got injured, and it was like, oh wow, there's a lot of potential there. That injury might be our saving grace. The injury might be why we can actually stash him. So I'm gonna put him on the practice squad at this moment. But he's a guy with a lot of promise, and I would love to see what he gets with his first year with an offseason here. See how much he improves. So, Tony, what were your thoughts on him?
I said that's Hasty. I said it. He's going to be a practice squad guy.
Practice squad. Okay, all right. So we're all in agreement there. That squeaking is my dog. He finally decides to play with a squeak toy. Can you stop? All right. And last but not least, as far as the running backs go, is Wayne Gallman. This is a guy that has been a point of debate on this show multiple times since we signed him, and I can't wait to see where you guys have him. Now, just to be clear here, so far, you guys have Elijah Mitchell, Raheem Mostert. That's
Sermon.
it.
Sermon.
Do Sermon yet?
We haven't touched on Sermon yet. Wait, what?
Yeah, Sermon's not on the list.
Oh, because he didn't sign his.
He hasn't signed his contract yet.
So so we're all gonna have Sermon on here.
Absolutely.
That's 3. I only have Mostert. That's it. I got Jeff Wilson injured. All right, I'll throw Sermon on there. That's 2. And that's it for me. So you guys have 3 already. What are you guys doing with Wayne Gallman?
I have him making the roster. I think we go with 4.
All right. Tony, are you agree with that?
Yeah, because if 1, 2, 3, if Wilson starts on the injury reserve, that frees up Mostert, Sermon, Gallman, then Mitchell. Yeah, I have him making it, but when Wilson comes back, I think it's between Gallman and Mitchell, because you got to understand something. If the 49ers didn't invest in Sermon, I think Gallman makes the roster because he was signed right before the draft, while they were still trying to come up with their strategy and which way they want to go. But now they added 2 more running backs to the puzzle. So it's kind of like they have their plan, and if Gallman steps up and shines, he's going to make the roster. If not, I don't know.
And to be fair, for me, before I didn't have him making the roster initially. The only reason I have him making the roster now is because Jeff Wilson is injured.
Exactly.
All right. I think I think Gallman makes the roster, and I think the team has a plan here. And I think the plan is for the 4 backs to make the team. And they are going to be used in tandem here. So my 3 that I have making the team are Gallman, Mostert, and Sermon. But I want to make sure I make it clear here that Hasty and Elijah Mitchell to the practice squad. If, like you guys said, they can't do that and they keep Mitchell, I'm okay with that. But the 4 guys that I think are the magic combination here are going to be Mostert and Mitchell, Gallman, and Sermon.
Yeah.
I think those are the guys that most resemble each other's traits and characteristics. And then if we lose one, we don't miss a beat. There's no changing of the game plan. That just plug and play and insert the next guy. And so if there comes a week where we have to ground and pound because the opposing team has really bad defensive tackles, and we're going to do this on the inside, that's going to be a heavy Sermon and Gallman game, right? Exactly. We're going to beat them up on the edges or whatever, or then that's going to be the Mostert and Mitchell game. And so I really think that's the team's plan of attack this year, is to have a backup for the different types of backs that they have.
Right.
And so that's where I'm going to leave it. Those are my guys. Again, I like I said, I have what's his name making the practice squad, but that's because I have to make room from other positions that I've overstocked so far. So I'm putting Mitchell on the practice squad still. All right. And then let's talk about fullbacks because we're here. First, let me change the
This will be short.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Boom and boom. We're going to talk about the fullback position briefly here. Now, last year, the 49ers kept just one. All right. This year, they have a couple of guys to choose from. See how you guys have this playing out. Right now, the 2 fullbacks on the roster are Josh Hokett and Kyle Juszczyk. What's up with Hokett, man? I mean, is he going to make the final 53 or is he just a practice squad guy?
He's a practice squad guy.
Is he a safe practice squad guy?
Yes.
Yes.
The Jets aren't going to implement a fullback?
I think they have one. I don't know who the hell he is, but I think they did add a fullback.
Oops, not that spreadsheet. I'll tell you in a second.
New York Jets.
No, you can look it up.
Let me see. Roster, New York Jets.
Or did they convert one of their tight ends from tight end to fullback, I think?
God, they got a lot of defensive linemen. There's no fullback listed on the team. On the team's site. It doesn't mean they didn't convert a tight. God damn, do they have enough tight ends? Jesus.
There you go.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They have 6 tight ends on this team.
Name them.
Kenny Yeboah, Trayvon Wesco, Tyler Crott, Chris Henderson, Ryan Griffin, and Daniel Brown.
Right, and that first one you named is the rookie.
Yeah,
he's the undrafted free agent out of Ole Miss. He could be a project at the fullback position for them. Could be, possibly. But, this could be a scenario where it comes down to cut day and Saleh calls up Kyle and says, we'll give you a 7 for Hoykett.
Right.
Oh, no. But I'll tell you what.
I'm wondering if he's safe.
I'll tell you this. God forbid Sermon went down. I would strongly, and Wilson isn't ready, I would strongly consider activating that kid and getting him on the roster.
Hockett?
Yes. Have you ever seen that kid run with the ball and catch the ball? He is.
Not as a 49er, I haven't.
Well, no, obviously. But at Fresno, he was. He's like he's a freak athlete, bro. He runs hard. He's a good ball player. It's just, unfortunately, we have Juszczyk, and that's it. But, I mean, if we needed a bigger back, I would strongly consider bringing him up.
Okay. All right. What are your thoughts? And now we know our friend of the show, New Jersey Rebel, aka Melissa, has been pounding the table for Rocket to get some action here. What are your thoughts on him, Brian?
So I'm like Tony was saying well, I just do it in my own way, I guess. With Juice being here, there's no way he's ever going to be a fullback unless something happens to Juice. Not on this team, I mean.
Right.
But I didn't really think about the Jets because since if they don't have one on the roster through OTAs, it might not be in LaFleur's plan to follow the offense exactly as Kyle ran it. So they may not go with a fullback. They may change it up on. That may not be part of their attack scheme. So. I think he'll be safe to move to the practice squad. I don't think he'll end up going anywhere else. I mean, unfortunately for him, he just hasn't really put any tape down because Juice is here. So there's no reason for us to, unless something happens to Juice where he's out for the season, there's just no use to put him on the 53-man roster. And I think we can get him, just due to his lack of tape, I think we can get him to the practice squad.
Yeah, I agree with that. I completely agree. I think that's the way to go with him. It's interesting. There was a guy that I wanted the Niners to draft, and he ended up going to the Packers. What the hell is his name? Dillon?
A.J. Dillon.
A.J. Dillon. Now, I'm not saying that he is as talented as he is. So don't get me wrong. But they both run with this imposing will with the ball in their hands. And that's who he reminds me, like a poor man's version of him. So I wouldn't be mad if he had to make the team, but I don't have him making the final 53. I do expect him to be around, though. All right. And we will transition to tight ends in just a second here. Let me change the symbol here. Bada boom, bada bing, a bang, a bang. And save. Okay. Did you guys hear that? You guys didn't hear me putting in my order? No? Okay. All right. That's great. So last year, the 49ers kept how many tight ends?
4.
George Kittle, Ross Dwelly, Jordan Reed, and Charlie Warner. Okay. Now, we know that Jordan Reed isn't here anymore. That's one less we got to worry about. But this year, the 49ers have a couple more guys here. Michael Pruitt was someone who was recently added, and they also picked up Josh Peterson. So in addition to Ross Dwelly, George Kittle, and Charlie Warner, those are the other 2 guys here. This is going to be an interesting group. And let me start with it. How many tight ends do you guys think we keep this year on the first 53?
For me, I have only 3 this year. This was, for me, when I built my 53-man roster for my projections, when I look at the board in each of the rooms for the specialty groups, right, on offense, I have to keep 6 receivers. I got to keep 4 running backs, fullback, 3 quarterbacks, and that only leaves me with 3
tight ends,
more specialty players. So that's where I robbed that position to make sure that my O-line stayed solid for me when I made my 53. I didn't want to short my O-line just because we ran into issues, and I don't want to run into issues.
All right. So, Tony, how many do you think are making it?
I could see them going with 4. And that's based off of, like we all spoke about numerous times on the show, Kittle's style of play. Dwelly's had a couple nicks here and there. And I think this Pruitt kid, who's known as a blocker, but I think he, in the right system, he could offer more than a blocker. And I think he could potentially be more useful than Warner. I was very high on Warner coming out of Georgia. I just think he's faster. And I don't know what happened to Warner with his blocking last year, but it kind of just like disappeared. I don't know if the step up was too big for him.
I think it had to do with the offseason.
He needed time in the weight gym. So, it's early. I think they go for. If they don't go for, I could see Pruitt potentially the odd man out.
So you got 4, maybe 3. Okay. Well, I'm going to give you guys a hot take to start this off here. I got us having only 3, but the hot take is that Michael Pruitt is the second best tight end on this roster right now. That's my hot take. I don't know if you guys agree. I don't know if you guys care to agree or whatever, but this guy is an underutilized talent. That's what I think of him.
He is. I'll give you that.
I really, really think so. And I think in a system like here, when Kyle gets his hands on him, I think he's going to step back and say, wait, what? This guy. Now, the knock on him is his height. I would prefer my tight ends to be a little bit taller, but he's 6'2". He's got decent size. He's still got decent size, but he's not the 6'4" like you want to see your tight ends, the 6'5". You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But he is easily the shortest tight end on the roster. You got Charlie Warner, 6'5", Josh Peterson, 6'5", George Kittle, 6'4". He's coming in here at 6'2". Ross Dwelly's also 6'5". Like every single one of them 6'5" or 6'4". But I'm telling you, this guy is special, and I am really hoping. I'm telling you, he is tight end number 2. That's my bold prediction. And I'll give you guys my third guy right now. I'm gonna stick with Ross Dwelly, but barely. I'm sticking with Ross Dwelly because I think he's going to be harder to stash on the practice squad than Charlie Warner. So that's why I'm sticking with Ross Dwelly making the final 53, and then we can stash Charlie Warner on the practice squad. So those are my 3, and you guys can break down the 4 or 3 that you have and where you have who you have on the practice squad.
I got Kittle, Dwelly, Warner, and Pruitt.
Kittle, Dwelly, Warner, and Pruitt. Hating on Peterson. Boo. Look at you, hater.
So I had Pruitt making this roster, but when I had to find a position to steal, he was my first off. So I have Kittle, Dwelly, and Warner on the 53, Peterson going to the practice squad, and then Pruitt obviously will be released at final cuts. For me, just so that I could keep my O-line the way I wanted it, I had to find a spot, and he was the sacrifice.
Okay. All right. So we got some changes here, man. This is going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to see how this final 53-man roster breaks down. We have what other offensive position do we have left to discuss? No, we did wide receivers. That it?
Yeah, we got corner, the fun one, right?
That's it. Oh man. Hey Tony, really quick, how many wide receivers? Because I know you weren't here for the other show. How many wide receivers do you have making the roster? There's what was it? We said 13 of them, right, Brian?
Yeah. First of all, have you talked to Wayne?
No.
Okay.
I haven't talked to him since the show last night.
No, I'm just asking if he had any insight into what Wayne said before he gives us his number.
Oh shit. No, I don't think he has.
I think it's probably going to be 6, but
6 is the safe number, but it's hard to just get 6.
It could potentially be 7.
You want to tell them what Wayne said?
Add another one.
8.
He went with 8. I was like, wow. Hey, but he did some maneuvering to make it happen. I just think he has more faith in our offensive line's durability than I do.
Did he say he went with 6 defensive linemen?
Oh, yeah, that's right. It was the defensive side of the ball.
It was the defensive side of the ball, and he also manipulated the linebacker versus defensive lineman because he had Ebukam as a linebacker. So that's why his numbers were low on the defensive line side.
Wow. Where I'm torn, I'm really first of all, if it's 7 or if it's 6, the last guy, in my opinion, is Jalen Hurd because he's got to prove. He's got to prove that he can stay healthy. Yeah, we saw what he did in Dallas, but that's all we saw. That's it.
But Jalen Hurd can't be the last guy if he's healthy because he was drafted. So he doesn't have more value. He doesn't have more value than Craycraft. I mean, he doesn't have less value than Craycraft.
Well, the way I look at it, Mike, is if he's not available, I'm going to keep a person who's more healthy than Jalen Hurd.
Right, but if you go through camp and Hurd is healthy, then he can't be your number 6, right?
No.
Right.
I said as of right now, he's the last guy because you don't know. That's the issue. Like, you don't know what you're going to get. The guy can walk on the field and snap his ACL again. He could. It's not a good start. It's not a good. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, I hear you.
With you, I listened to bits and pieces of your show last night, or was it last night or the night before?
What position was it?
The wide receivers. So
that was last night.
I think Jennings and Sanu are this. Like they're. If they
I'll tell you what, man, the fascination with Jennings this offseason is incredible to me. It's absolutely incredible. I don't get it.
I promise you, he is a damn good wide receiver. The knock on him coming out of Tennessee was he was not fast. And clearly he did something.
Right. He hurt himself last year too when he was on the practice squad.
Yeah, he ripped his hamstring pretty freaking good.
Right. I get more concerned about muscular issues than I do tendons and ligaments. Tendons and ligaments you can fix, replace. Muscle stuff, that's like
that could be tied into the short mini camp, that
shit.
It
It could be, but he tore his hamstring or whatever like week 13 or something like that. It was late in the season when he did that because like that's when we were elevating like Kevin White and other guys, and I thought that would have been a good time for him to get elevated. I want to see him on the field as well, Tony. Don't get me wrong. I don't give when I think about who I can sneak back onto the practice squad. Jennings to me seems like one of those guys that
you could sneak him on. You definitely could sneak him on.
That's why I didn't have him in mind. That's the only reason.
Aspect where you put the ball in this guy's hands. He's running you over. He's running through. You want to talk about a guy who's Joshua Garnett said, hey, I'm going to take your soul. This guy will do it. He's just he's an animal. And
Greg Papa got me excited about him. I'm not going to lie. Like listening to how Greg Papa like just gushed over him from what he saw from that open practice, I was just like, wow. Like, and it wasn't about, he was catching everything or whatever. It was about separation. His movements. It was about the movement, the fluidity in his movements. It's literally the exact opposite of what we heard about him last year and what we saw from him last year. It was the exact opposite of that. And so that got me excited. But the way the fans are talking about him as if we've seen it ourselves, what if it was somebody wearing the same number and Papa was mistaken? We discovered last night during our show that there's two people with the same number on the team, number 7, right?
Right.
There's 2 number 7s on the roster right now. Like, what if it was something like that? There's players that haven't been assigned numbers. There's
Sudfield has a black jersey, so it's different than who's the other guy? Oh, the wide receiver. He would have a red or a white jersey, and Sudfield would have a black jersey.
Sherfield? No, Benjamin.
Sudfield. Oh no, Watkins. So yeah,
right. Because we were talking about. We thought they could only do it on opposite sides of the ball.
Right. So, all right. I mean, that's it, guys. I'm not going to make this thing drag out. We got to come back in an hour and a half. Any final thoughts? Let's bring that back. I think we forgot to do that last night on the show, I think. So we don't do it for the Midnight Madness, but we do it here. Any final thoughts, fellas? Let's go with Tony first.
All these shows that we're trying to project the roster to Final 53, it's all preliminary. I mean, preseason could flip this thing upside down, right side up. Like it's very preliminary, so it's kind of like, this is what we think now. But there's guys that like Jennings. There's Jennings could come out on fire. Watkins Jr. could come out on fire. Like you don't know. Like Peterson could even come out and outplay Dwelly. So. This is kind of like just the beginning. I don't know if you're planning on doing one again, like right before the actual final cut down. After,
absolutely, yeah. We're gonna do one of these following the last preseason day. We might have to do it right after because I know, depending on the timing of it, the cut downs. As a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, weren't the final cut downs before the last preseason game?
No,
Yeah, I think they were. Or they no, it was 75.
we didn't have
In the last
preseason last
preseason
year.
Right, they had to do like a pre-cut down last year.
Right. It was 75.
Yeah, there was
That
two
played-
cuts. There wasn't like each game you cut. You go from 90 to 75 to 55, 53. There was
Right.
2 cuts, and that was it. Which I don't know what their plan is this year, how they're going to do their cuts, what are they going to do with the roster, what are they going to do with the practice squad? Are you going to be able to move people up and down? Like, they didn't come out and say that. I don't know if they're carrying on from last season and bringing it over to this one. So, I mean, I wish they would clarify that as
Right.
well.
All right, so far it sounds like basically everything that was in place last year will be in place this year, is what it sounds like. They haven't said anything otherwise. Players can still opt out for COVID this year, so it's like it seems like all the rules are in the same, like it's going to be the same thing as last year, with the exception of obviously not audience, but fan attendance at the stadium.
See that, Sean? You see that? All right. You see this right here? You see this right here? You wouldn't catch me dead in the Saints jersey. You kidding me? All right. I'm sorry. So I interrupted your final thoughts like twice, Tony. I apologize about that.
No, it's all good. I just think that this is all preliminary and it's going to change. I think it's going to change. And I just can't wait for the preseason to start. I really am looking forward to preseason to see the young talent and let them go through a full training camp, let their legs get under them, and let these guys, hopefully it corrects all the injury issues because they're going to be able to get the time in and the work and the reps, the field work, and all that crap. So it's kind of like I'm just ready for it. I got news for you. It's going to come quick because it's already July.
It's the end of bro. When I wrote today's date, I was like, this can't be right. I mean, the end of
Right?
June.
Fuck, it's
The end
scary.
of June. I was like, there's no way it's the 20 plus already. Like, I don't know what I was doing the whole beginning of the week, man. But when I wrote today's date, I'm like, wait, what? What? The 24th?
Yep.
Oh man. This time is flying. Yeah. All right, Brian, man. We're gonna give it to you for final thoughts. Tony, by the way, what's it feel like outside? I see you got the hoodie on, but it looks so nice out there, man.
It's beautiful out. There's a slight chill in the air.
Perfect. Huh?
It's really nice. Like if you were here, you'd be straight cigar. Like
I'm thinking about that for the midnight show. I'm being honest with you. I'm looking at you. I really think I might have to go out and see if I can find one of my mini cigars and have that for the.
the problem is, I'm a little bit closer to the water, so I get
You got
that
a cooler breeze.
the breeze off the ocean. So it's kind of like a little bit chillier here.
Yeah. All right, Brian. Let's get. Oh no, Sean, I did not sew the patches on myself. All right, I ordered it this way. This is not a thing. This is Nick Bosa. All right, I tried to make sure I got some players. I got Fred Warner this year, Eric Armstead, and Nick Bosa. I just don't like the plain jerseys. If I'm gonna get a jersey, I kind of want it to be a little different. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. All right, Brian. Final thoughts, man. Let's take this thing home.
So I don't want to steal a bunch of thunder from later for Twitter for today, but I will anyway. So I just want to, with all the things like we're talking about, we are in a great position for competition, as Joe Staley said today. And, that I know, Mike, I'm sorry, I'm stealing a little thunder from later, but, you got to love that. You got that competition breeds success. So, I mean, hopefully these guys will get better and, we're going to have the best squad we can have come time for cut downs. The other part of that is we won't have a regular show tomorrow, so I'm going to give a shout-out to my youngest, Joey. He's going to be 14 tomorrow, so I just want to make sure I put that out there. Other than that, be good to each other.
You can say that on the midnight show, but I forgot
It still won't be midnight for me. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. Oh, that sucks. Well, I'll say it for you, and it'll be official. How's that?
It's all good. But yeah, so be good to each other. Just take everybody's else's opinions and don't fight with each other, and just be good people. That's all I got.
You said he's going to be 14.
He'll be 14 tomorrow.
That's incredible. Oh my God! Talk about time flying, man.
I got Only 2 I got. They'll both be in high school next year.
Oh boy. Whew. All right, guys. I don't have many final thoughts here. Just continue to be kind to each other. I saw this beautiful story Miss Debbie retweeted, and I'm glad she did. Was happy to see it on my timeline. It was about this guy who was a homeless artist, lost everything in a fire in Santa Monica, if I'm not mistaken, California. Just living on the streets, holding up signs, begging for money. And somebody drove by. Long story short, they put his story out there. Well, first they researched him to see if he really was who he said he was. And then it turns out he worked with greats like Muhammad Ali and Mike Tyson and just all these great people he worked with. And they started a GoFundMe for him. And then he got his own art gallery. It's an incredible thing. I retweeted it. I liked it or retweeted it, one of them. But it's just a reminder. Do kind for people. One small good deed can make all the difference in the world for somebody, and then you don't know who else they'll bless along the way. So just be kind to each other. That's my final thought for the night, and I think that's it. We're gonna get up out of here. You guys good to go? Ready?
All good.
All right, I'm gonna point us out of here. You guys watching? You guys ready? Tony, you ready? Yeah. Is he frozen?
No.
Oh, okay. All right, there he goes. All right, here we go.
Just playing.
Here we go. He looks like Robert Saleh down there. Like he's got this what's the bad guy's name from Batman?
From Batman.
The rich dude. What's the villain? His main nemesis? What's Batman's bad guy's name? I mean Superman.
Lex Luthor.
Lex Luthor. Yeah, Tony's got this Lex Luthor look going down there right now.
Oh my gosh.
That's what it is. Robert Saleh. Robert Saleh always remind me of Lex Luthor. That's what Tony's got going on down there. It's the ball head thing. All right, guys, we're gonna get up out of here. You guys ready? Here we go. Prepare for glory.
Anticipate pain.
But always remain faithful.
We're out of here, guys.
Mahalo.